Hi folks, I have a great news for you today. I did get a little bit of sleep. That's a great thing for me. And even better so, there you go. It looks happy, healthy. I read an article here. There you go. And like I said, I have a great news for you. A news pertains to my blog. Yesterday 5,400, 5,400, today 6,600. Look, just one is missing. There you go, all time. Let's see this. It's gotta be 100%, right? Like this. This is a graph right here. The numbers look better than ever. I did not have so many visitors based on this blog, and I know this blog is censored, definitely censored. But this month, check this out, it's going to be July, no less, ladies and gentlemen, than 102,000 views, and this certainly lives behind what was March of 2024 when I had so many people. So this blog is truly interesting blog. I remember when British oils got involved and the blog numbers totally stagnated. They did about everything possible to get me killed, destroyed, and somehow the blog survived, and that was a good news. And really, the numbers are so weird. Some months like this, some month like that, and so on. And then first time it started to establish itself in January 2022, over 20,000 views per month. And well, the last time that you saw me with a 20,000 views per month was during February 2023, and since the numbers started to, I'm not going to say skyrocket here, but when compared to that stuff, yeah, they really do. I know this is not a very good news for the people who did this shit, because this blog definitely is censored, and they know all about the censorship of this blog. So this year, these numbers here look truly encouraging for me. It says right there 12,500 posts. No, that's not legitimate. I do have over 13,700. I deleted many. Well over 13,700. Well over 14,000. With over 2,000 videos. This is Mount Everest of hard work. They just couldn't stop no matter what they would do. So I thought that I would share this news with you. This is very encouraging for me. It's truly started to take a toll on this kind of issue here, which on October the 30th, as you know, not only have Slovenian state prosecutor Sonja Breznik equaled together with the Ministry of Interior police officer Miran Sudin about the worst crime against humanity with the telepathy. They compared the stuff that I do with the telepathy, and They obtained certifications for my being mentally ill in 2012. Together with the British Royals, they ensured that this case would go for as long as invisible as possible. I don't think it gets any worse than MK Ultra, because whatever is done MK Ultra, you see, ends up in worse forms of, through the torture, worse forms of murder, all kinds of stuff that state are using MK Ultra for. In this case, 53 years. But they did not only equal this with the telepathy, MK Ultra, laughing in my face at the police station and then also on the letter, basically just citing blatant lies, basically gesturing that the only thing that really counts is whatever we write on the state paperwork and you don't even exist. But they landed me literally at the psychiatric hospital on that October the 30th of 2024. Literally. Miran Sudin laughed in my face that day. He said, just keep writing, he said to me on that day, before I was transported to the psychiatric hospital Ljubljana Polje from Novo Mesto city. So they somehow are getting recognized, because I think that public that visits, there you go, 6,604. They were hiding in a shot of a very long time. It was people before me that did not have tools like I have. I do have the internet, even that they have exercised against me, but still the internet allowed me to expose not only this crime against humanity, about the worst thing you can do to the human being, but the way they do the stuff, the way they were desperate, basically how far this Slovenian state, I was just saying to myself, how far this Slovenian state have gone to silence the truth about something so disgusting. Usually when people go missing, it's their governments that report them to international authorities as missing. Whether it be Interpol or whatever police association, governments would search for the people, doing their best to assist missing people, especially nowhere more than in the developed world. But in this case, Slovenia, which was hiding behind the Serbia and behind the Russia. This is how it was when it all started in 1972. Slovenia was part of Yugoslavia. You know, the Soviet Union was the big mama, big papa of the Yugoslavia. That's how this stuff went out there. This is how it go to the distance, and then through the British and all this. That's how it works together with the British. That's how they coordinated, synchronized this crime against humanity since 1972. They did their best, talking about the Slovenia, for me not to be seen. You understand me what I'm saying? Usually when people go missing, it's their homeland, their country that reports them as missing, asking for assistance from foreign authorities. But in this case, Slovenia proclaimed me as non-existing since I was born on December the 9th, 1971. And was using international authorities to make me be seen as invisible. So this is a very, very, very crime that it doesn't get any worse than that. About the worst crime against humanity there can be is this one here. The worst one yet. Fighting this kind of sickness, a psychiatry, a political psychiatry. That's a political case, that's a political psychiatry. It's a political stuff. Just today I have seen a case of, right here, Jamaica, which heavily supported genocide extermination procedure against it since my childhood. These are the big fans, big supporters of the psychiatric hospital Ljubljana Polje, and engaged in a sleep deprivation through the sleep deprivation, total exhaustion, cardiovascular burnout, trauma-based torture procedures since my earliest years. Cuba, Jamaica, Haiti, and so on. They were all in it through this great man here that you see here. This was in Yugoslavia, and Josip Broz Tito was this great Yugoslav marshal in this Liga Neovršćenih. Just earlier today I have seen how this political psychiatry operates, because after Slovenia became an independent country, the First League, it's called the First League, that means not in NATO, not in Warsaw Pact, yeah, right. No. Non-aligned movement, yeah, we said this, it's called the non-aligned movement now. And Josip Broz Tito was a great professor of this stuff, that you have this kind of stuff. Coordinated this kind of stuff, coordinated genocide against me as a form of revolution against the West, that dependent on individual countries' need. In this case, we're talking about Jamaica. I saw this just a little earlier, the news about how Jamaica demands the money for the slavery reparations, and it was Charles Windsor, the so-called British king, with the Queen Elizabeth, with the Prince Harry, with Prince William. They were all worried about the money they would have to hand to the Caribbean states, for other countries. They started to negotiate through my case. More crime. They started to negotiate through the genocide against me from both sides. From both sides. They do this stuff from both sides. This is very, very important. We're talking about the political MK Ultra. It's why it takes so long. It's basically, this is what this is. This is the worst crime against humanity. But you got to understand that the so-called socialist, the so-called communist side is more vicious, more murderous than the Western side. The Western side, all you have to do is match the degree of violence of the Eastern side. And that's exactly what this shit is. That's exactly what this is. They coordinated based on the specific country's needs their involvement in, I should say their share of crime against me based on their needs. And Jamaica's needs were concentrated into reparations for the slavery, for the 200-year slavery they endured. And the British had their needs in respect to the reparations, who negotiated reparations through my case also with these Caribbean islands. Really threatening me, literally threatening me that it will all depend on my talk against the British, my positioning the British throne in a negative light. Then at the same time, on the Jamaican side, they demanded from me to see myself in a Jamaica, that they will not support my case if I will not see myself in them, and there was nothing to see. This is what the problem is, because Jamaica did nothing other than torture. They did absolutely everything they possibly could. This is not Jamaica. They did absolutely everything they possibly could to support these people here. They did absolutely everything they possibly could to support whatever these people inherited from the man who started this stuff. That was Josip Broz Tito, whom I have demonstrated to you. And what became a psychiatric hospitalization in 2012, with Jamaicans doing their best to get me killed, together with a psychiatrist from Ljubljana Polje. The torture on Jamaica was unprecedented. The torture on Jamaica, financed by both sides, British, American, and Slovenian side, ranged from the mountains through the junkyards to the beautiful beaches, resorts, and so on. Absolutely throughout entire Jamaica. And I was really disturbed when I saw this earlier, when I reminded that I was even incited by the British royals that it will depend, this reparation are going to depend on me. That the reparations, they are going to depend on me, on how much harm am I going to cause to the British throne. Damage their image, etc., etc. Jesus Christ. For all the torture I got in Jamaica, I'm told by Jamaican side that there will be nothing. Jamaicans literally use the Slovenian police to action to me for over 20 years. Obviously, they wanted me to say nothing about what went on in Jamaica for the sake of their future claim they would launch, and which they, by the way, did negotiate already with the British. They did negotiate with the British already. And by the British side, that it will depend on me. The handouts for the slavery reparations based on damage I will cause to their reputation. This is fucking insane. Truly fucking insane. But it goes hand in hand with the stuff I described. British started to build for these Slovenian politicians, Kučan, Pahor, Fajon, etc., etc. It goes hand in hand. This is the news that I saw earlier, that it was totally disturbing news to me. This is a news. Again, Prince Charles obtained from me on Jamaica through interrogations, asking me in front of Jamaicans whether I would give them something for reparations or not, and started to rationalize the torture on Jamaica. Charles redistributed me through all the Caribbean islands and Central America for the torture purposes, and witnessed one. Gesture me that he likely will not, etc., etc. Even discuss these issues with me about reparations concerning Jamaica. 150 years of slavery, 150 years of slavery. Of the country that, and I also discussed that issue because this was on a program since 1996. Jamaicans wanted to absolutely kill me. I probably got million death threats from Jamaicans. Jamaica was about the most violent country in the Caribbean. Just as violent as Haiti or Dominican Republic. This is a miracle that I'm alive. In 1996, as far as my personal opinion, if Jamaicans would want to get reparations for the slavery, they would have to depart from Jamaica back to the Africa where they were imported from. And this isn't about what I established only, but it's already British who stated that the only one who's going to get reparations from the Jamaican slavery issues, concerning slavery issues, it will be a portion of the population, of the Jamaican population, which were exported back to the Africa. They will get reparation for the slavery. This is what King Charles told me that the case is going to be. But they negotiated also some other money. So I'm disturbed because I saw this stuff. This was again the stuff that was involved in it. It was involved in this political bestiality. You know, it was involved in this political bestiality, and it concerns my case, and I want to make things clear. I don't see myself in Jamaica, for one thing, in Jamaican reparations. That's one thing, and I got nothing to do with it. Jamaica is about 3 times more populated than Slovenia is, and it's about half of the size of the Slovenia. If they probably concentrate more on development, law, order, this will be a very wealthy country. This is probably the wealthiest island in the world. This is an island with the most beautiful beaches in the world, with the most beautiful mountains in the world, hills. This is incredible beauty that is in a condition as it is simply because of the people, their own people. Nobody governs Jamaica. Jamaica doesn't even pay for the military. They don't even have their own military. They even welfare themselves with a free military through the British. So I mean, this is just the way it is when it comes to Jamaica. In 1996, Jamaicans wanted to kill me because I told Jamaicans this is a very old issue, this slavery reparations. It's got more than earlier I was talking to myself that this was earlier than when psychiatry started. When psychiatry started, Jamaicans started to pressure on me that I must be silent, that I must quiet, that I must see myself in them. No, they anticipated that there will be conflicts which this kind of people were creating between me and between the British royals. And they were creating this together with the British royals. The British royals, CIA, FBI, they wanted to get rid of me. They were not out there to help me. They were not on my side. To put it exactly the way it is. I didn't have anybody on my side. I had God on my side. God was on my side. Now I also have the truth. They counted at nothing more than what you see here. Psychiatry, Jamaicans did, just as they're what they claim white masters that exploited them, that enslaved them. This is incredible, because this is a story of not a modern slave, but I was hijacked for torture purposes, for psychiatry purposes, for the sake of wars. British Americans negotiated with the Russians for the sake of the New World Order, for the sake of theft that ranged anywhere from South Africa all the way to Iraq, Iran, oil tankers, Kuwait also Kuwait. British was still in the money, British royal family, wherever there was a chance, not only Greenland, etc., etc. It was nothing other than about the theft. But the biggest theft in my case was the theft of my life. My 93-year-old father is over there at home on the bed, 3/4 dead because of this scum. They destroy entire family, they destroy everything. Yet the only thing you get to see is this kind of stuff here. No, Jamaicans, how can I tell you? Jamaicans came out together with the British based on their white master's instructions. I can barely hold anger back right now when I talk about Jamaica. I don't know if anything is as disgusting. Talking about Jamaicans, talking about you. I don't know if anything is as disgusting on this planet as you are. I mean, aren't you supposed to be descendants of the slaves? Yet you were involved in genocide against me. And today, this subject that came out...
Reparations should take the form of total relief of Jamaica's debts to the UK. And
today, this subject that came out to damage my reputation. To anger me. Absolutely. That means that you work, just as I explained, that you coordinated with British, pull this news out at the critical moment that fits your king's agenda and your wallet, your pocket. As if 48 years of torture, lynching, tourism, violence tourism, cash for violence tourism was not enough on Jamaica. It seems like you need more. It seems like you work very, 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 very much with one another. That's why. I know that this is disturbing. I know that this is a trouble for you. I completely understand. I get it. I know why you're doing this in a critical moment. You're again playing on a race card. You're again doing your best. Trying to play all way you possibly can. And you are a disgrace as a descendant of the slaves to be engaged together with the Black Lives Matter from the United States of America in this type of business. that makes you actually worse than the slave traders. You truly are disgrace. It goes to show just how much you can play together with those against whom you claim injustice, against some other person, that for you it's completely okay, is invisible, locked out there. If his entire life is burned, deleted, and you do so through United Nations, through your representatives, not only through your police and through your government, Jamaican government in Jamaica, but literally inside of United Nations. You're a total disgrace, and not for United Nations, but for humanity. That's all I gotta say about in this video. Yeah, they will tell you Jamaicans, because this stuff was already discussed. British already analyzed all this stuff. For you to get paid reparations, you have to go back to Africa. The only reparations that are going to be paid to Jamaicans are going to be paid to Jamaicans who resettled from Jamaica back to Africa. There is a tribe that resettled back in Africa, and those are the uncles that are going to get compensation for the slavery. Yet it is true. The truth is that you don't have any natives from Jamaica left in Jamaica. Not even one native in Jamaica exists today. Not a single one person. You don't have a one Taino, one Arava person left in Jamaica. For remember in 1996 when I started this quest, when I revolted against your violence, I told you, you're not even natives in Jamaica. And you started to search desperately together with Americans and with the British for the natives in Jamaica. The truth came out that you don't have one single Arava, one single Taino person in Jamaica. That's that picture right there. That's why I said these are not Jamaicans. No, these are really Taino people that you see right there. These are really Taino people. These are Taino people, but these are not Jamaicans. The Taino person was found, this family was involved in MK Ultra. These are Taino people, and they are still exist today because of me. If you go to these people, they will tell you they exist today because of me. They are located in the US Virgin Islands. If it wasn't for me, they would perish too. That's how a big subject I started. You can watch that video. This girl here that you see, it's really beautiful. I do marry her. She's beautiful. But she's not a Taino. She's not a native of Jamaica. You don't have any natives in Jamaica left. You are registered at 90% black and the rest is all kinds of stuff. Mixture with the white and whatever you have. Ancestry. You have nothing. The only thing you have is a feather that you stash in your hair. With a weed in your hands. Coca. You hallucinate that you are Tainos, but the native people in Jamaica you don't even have. That's my opinion, that's a fact about your slavery reparations that I'm bringing to attention. And they will explain to you, they will tell you about it. I'm not a British agent, but I'm somebody who will press charges against Jamaica. I will press criminal charges against your misconduct, against your crime, against humanity that you enforce together with Slovenian side, psychiatry here, police. That's who I am. I don't think that somebody who tested the slavery or is concerned about the slavery would do the stuff like you did. I think there is not a trace of humanity in you Jamaicans. You are a see nothing, hear nothing, know nothing. Backstabbers that do the business behind the back of those that kill, slit their throats with those whom they claim they enslaved them. This is who you Jamaicans are. You are a double deal, double face. That's all I gotta say in respect to this issue. Very good numbers here, nice numbers. It's looking out that in my case is getting recognized throughout the world. I'm not against the black people. Black people should be paid reparations. The people in Africa, for the crimes against humanity done against them, people in Congo, in South Africa, and all this stuff that was done to them in Namibia and so on, you know? But you got a most beautiful homeland right there in Caribbean. Is it that you want to pay for it? You want to sell one? Going back by going back to Africa? Or you want to pay for one? Or how do you want it? This is just on my personal view. You did not look out for me. And your humanity is below the trash. In 1945, when the World War II ended, and since, we have seen a lot of wars. Actually, the global picture degrading more and more, but it is because of people like you in Jamaica. You contributed nothing to humanity. You are only taking away from humanity, and you are deteriorating. You are making the picture even worse for the entire world. I am just trying to make a difference. I stay alive. The difference I make the difference for the better of humanity, for the entire world. As far as you, yourself, the only share you have, in my case, is the one that I told you. And you can go and you can talk about all kinds of stuff you want to, with smoke and discuss, but that's all there is, that's all that it comes to. This is a huge deal, and I'm truly disgusted that in such a critical moments for me that you pull together with the British Royals subject like this. But then again, if I go back to the main subject, the numbers are looking finally very, very encouraging. With finally today I broke even over 100,000 views. Beautiful, beautiful numbers. I have not seen numbers like this yet. This had a really, really rocky history. Truly, truly rocky history. British Royals truly, truly severe me, damaged me badly. And, you know, we learn from, that's how I am. I learn from what's taking place, and then, you know, it doesn't matter how steep it is, how deep it is, I correct the mistakes I make. And finally, the truth started to prevail like never before. Yeah, since 2022, just about this time, you only saw me once going below 20,000. And as for everything else, the numbers started to really rock. And let's hope that these numbers will continue to rock with more and more people being aware and less victim to this type of crime. This is about the political crime. All the political crimes always have a happy ending because the person is always consumed in one way or another It's impossible to withstand so much pressure from all directions, from all parts of the world, and remain human. In this case, I did it. I exposed all the sides inside, the rich and poor, and the best part about this case of mine is the ability for the people to see how much corruption can do, what corruption does. Corruption literally kills, murders real people. 53 years of life I lost because of one hand that handed out the money and the other hand that was collecting that money. The game known as see nothing, hear nothing, know nothing is coming to an end, finally. Thanks for watching this video. There's a lot of subjects that's written about MK Ultra, which I have read none. If I would have read, then I would not be capable to describe you. My case as it was, there is nothing really written yet. The stuff that I have spoken so far, I did explain a lot, but there is a lot I did not explain. And so, if you are subject to international MK Ultra procedure, you have nobody in this world. If you're really lucky, you have God. And finally, one day, you might even have the true. And then you're really, really lucky and really, really wealthy, because you're definitely not alone in this world. You have no idea how cruel this world can be. Thanks for watching this video. Till next time. This is just a little update about the blog. I feel really positive about it. It's nice to go over 100,000. This is for the first time monthly. And this blog is heavily censored. Definitely the truth they can never lie, they can never hide about. Definitely. Where United Nations is exposed unlike anywhere else, where corruption is exposed unlike anywhere else, like by any other, about how this world really functions, how this world is made out of. I should have made a fortune of money out of this thing. Yet I don't even allow for the ads to be displayed on this blog because of the threats they gave me. Because of the threats which they claim that even if I put any kind of company, threats that this man made possible, threats that that lady demanded, extorted, threats that British royals made possible with White House, threats that your presidential immunity made it possible for the US Congress and everyone else, for that matter. Yeah, they threatened they would even close down the blog once they would see me collecting the money from the ads, any kind of revenue, using them to launch complaint against me, etc., etc. See, it can be done. It can be done. It can be done without nothing. You can grow out of genocide like this. So, it took me a long time, but I was light in the shadow for the people, light in the dark, in a total darkness, and I continue to shine. And today I don't give a shit who you are, where you are, what kind of position, political, privileged position you have. You are seen for what you are, scum. You're not getting away from it. Jamaicans started to press crime against me with what became independent Slovenia for the sake of reparations already before. But in 1996 this shit exploded so far that I told Jamaicans, you don't even have a Jamaican natives left in Jamaica. You know what I mean? In 1996, beginning in 1996, I assaulted the Jamaican delegation straight in the face of their violence against me. I told them, you don't even have any kind of... They claimed with the Slovenian side that I'm a hater, that I'm racist. I told them, listen, you don't even have native Jamaicans in Jamaica left. In fact, there are more natives, American natives left in the United States of America than... Well, there is not a single individual, a native, single native individual left in Jamaica. So this shit, this Jamaican stuff with the British dragged for a very long time, more than since 1996. But in 1996 it exploded. No, it's about 3.7 million natives. No, this is lie. 3.7 million if it's left is American natives, truly Indians that are left in the United States of America. Well, Jamaica is actually even worse in terms of what I stated here. And of those 3.7 million, of those 5 and 9 million, there is even whites that they claim to be of a native origins. And they do so they can collect the federal money. Support, social support. In Jamaica, the number is less than 1. 0 is the correct number. You're not going to be doing this kind of stuff. I don't give a three fuck. You're not going to be doing this kind of stuff through me. You understand? You fucking understand that? What I state on my blog pertains to my case. I'm not here to defend your criminal, the most genocidal ways. It's your contribution to my case. It was only the contribution I stated in this video, nothing other than that. The man that you see over there in the picture, those guys that you see right there, that's who you are. That's where the fuck you are from. You're worse. You're worse than your white masters. You're worse than your white masters. You hate more. You're more racist than your white masters. That's about the only recognition ever you're going to get from me. And I hope the world is going to start to understand that they don't have nothing other than from you. From your presence in this world, there is nothing other than pain. You only make things worse. You only make things more difficult. You don't contribute. For the people in the developed world, they only have to bother with more and more and more stuff. Because you yourself became part of the biggest problem. Psychiatry, this is who you are. This is not to benefit British or whatever. This is to put you at your own place. I don't see myself in you. I see myself in you even less than I see myself in these British colonial bastards. You're even worse. The two of you were made for one another. You're even worse. That's why this video, it's very important to set the record straight about you and me, who is what is, about your contribution to this case, and what you, Jamaicans, is a disgrace, truly disgrace, were trying to use me together with your white British owners, even in the case of your slavery reparations. You didn't have to involve me in this stuff. You could have done it privately. You didn't have the right to involve me in it. Right of any kind. This here is what you did for me. This here. This stuff here. After 38 years of lynching, bestiality, performed also in Jamaica, this is where I ended up because of you. You made this stuff possible also through United Nations. You Jamaicans. Just so you know, you You don't even understand. You don't fucking understand even what I'm talking about. Go back to your weed and smoke. Today you try to tarnish my reputation. Today you try to make me look no good, and at no surprise that your royals selected the time, the timing and everything. You all coordinated together. You can all work together with your Black Lives Matters from the USA. You're really born for one another. Truly, like a Meghan Markle and Prince Harry's wedding. You can work together, you can dance, you can do it. You can. Yes, of course you can. Yes, of course you can. Yes, you can, sure you can. Hey, put some more feather in your hair. You look smarter like this.